Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back, y'all. It's late. Y'all see the shadow in the back of my on my walls. It's not as bright as it usually is, even though I got my ring light up. I was not gonna leave y'all hanging today to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. I was up to some stuff with the girls from Ooh Ladies First Panel. So shout out to Jamie, Bondi, Jay Lee, and our special guest. So we got some stuff coming up. But y'all, we here to review Real Housewives of Potomac finale. And y'all tell me in the comments, okay? What did y'all think about the Real Housewives of Potomac finale? In my opinion, I thought it was good. I'm just gonna say good. There's good, there's better, and then there's best. As far as the finale, I would say it was good. And then y'all know we got to look forward to a damn 4-part reunion with Nicki Minaj. I'm not really mad about Nicki Minaj. I'm excited for her to be there. But what I don't want to see is all the fangirling, okay? Because based on the previews, y'all seen Wendy stand up and do all that hollering. Y'all know how extra she could be. So I think Nicki actually would come with some decent questions, but I feel like the girls ain't gonna give her the real answers. The girls gonna try to keep it cute. So I guess we're gonna find out. I'm gonna be there for all 4 parts. So even though this is the finale review, we're gonna keep talking about the show probably to the end of the year is what it seems like. Also, 4 parts of BS is what Kenya's saying. What's up, Asia Carlay, Miss B and Alicia Garcia. Also, off topic, but my B-Day is in 10 days, okay? So make sure y'all are following me on Instagram and Twitter so y'all can tell me happy birthday on 11/11, okay? All right. So there's really only 3 main parts of the episode, and I broke it up for us to talk about it. Asia says that the episode was a solid 7. And yeah, I have to agree somewhere around that. I'm like, 7 flat, okay? I would even say like a 6.8 if we're gonna get super technical. Ayana says, I finally made it live. Hey girl, the episode was about an 8. I feel you on that. Do it like it's your B-Day. That's what I'm gonna do, y'all. I got my B-Day here, 11/11 Scorpio season. Do it like your B-Day, baby. I sing that every day, okay? And Kenya, I'm gonna remember your birthday, okay? I will. I'm gonna put it in my phone because we here. I love whenever, y'all low-key my friends in my head. I always tell y'all that, okay? Steph, Keith, happy birthday to the Scorpio. So let's get into this review, y'all. So in the beginning of the episode, let me go ahead and put up my Potomac picture. Nope, there we go. So in the beginning of the episode, y'all, we see Karen planning for her wedding. Really didn't take too much notes of what was going on there. We also find out that her daughter Raven is sick, so her daughter Raven cannot go to the wedding. So I was like, dang, that's sad. I really wanted to see Raven there because if she was going to give the way Karen did, that would have been a sight to see. That would have been a mother-daughter duo that you could not touch. So I was actually excited to see Raven. Too bad she couldn't come. Now, let's go ahead and get into the foolery, okay? Which was the Darbys and the Dixons meeting up. I feel like Juan was so present this episode because he was obligated to do whatever he had to do to get his little check. He definitely showed up and was like, I'm here. And, honestly, y'all, after seeing Juan in the scene, which we'll get into, I ain't gonna dig, but I gotta tell y'all the thoughts as they come out of my mind. After seeing Juan in the embellishment warehouse, I was like, you know what? Everybody loves Juan. I am so glad Juan Dixon is not here. Everybody loves Juan. But I feel like the fact that he doesn't film as much is what is his saving grace because he was right. He definitely was going to end up looking like a dickhead. He was. So let's get into the Darbys and the Dixons. So they're meeting up. Michael, of course, has to tell Juan how he's been meeting with a personal trainer 5 days a week. And Juan says, yeah, you look good. And you could just see the little twinkle in Michael's eye. He was like, yes, this was my moment. He was so excited, right? So then, Juan says you look good. Robin, she also was much more likable this episode. She said some things that I actually agreed with. And I was like, wow, look at me tolerating Robin. Robin will be fine on her own. So Robin asked Michael, Michael, we miss you. When are you going to come around the group? And to me, I was like, but where is Juan? I feel like we've seen Michael just as much as we've seen Juan. So she asked him, when is he going to come around the group? And he says that there are some shady characters or some questionable people who he would rather not be around. That's whenever Ashley said that he's speaking about Chris and Candace. Now, y'all, I hope y'all had watched the previous seasons, but to me, I feel like the entire undertone and reason why Michael is so upset is because of the allegations of Michael just putting his hands on people when he feel like it. Okay. This is in reference to also the supposedly missing footage that Monique and Chris had a few seasons back as well. So even though they've had scuffles and little arguments, I think Michael can't stand them because they're calling a thing a thing. And I think that that's what Candace meant at the end of the episode when she speaks to the privilege of it all. So we definitely gonna talk about that too. So he says that he would rather not be around Candace and Chris. And that's whenever Michael says, well, he's living off his wife. That's like the worst thing you can do. And it's funny to hear him say that because those are his shots. And Candace's shots are often about how Ashley is living off of her husband. But it was just funny to see the difference between the two. And then not only did Michael not stop there, Michael said she's also living off her mother. I was like, ooh, okay, shady boots, Michael. Michael came ready to play with the girls. And I wish, y'all, as much as I can't stand Michael, and as much as I know that he uses his white privilege to avoid taking responsibility for certain things or alleged things, I feel like this amount of shade I would have loved to see, but even more so because I know that Chris would have got right with him and he potentially would have been exposed. So Ashley knew the assignment whenever Michael came on this season. The assignment was to make him such a great dad, great father, just as she whispered to him in the finale episode. Y'all are so full of it. She whispered to him in the wedding, you're such a great dad. You think you nailed that? You think we didn't see what happened seasons ago? You think we forgot? You think that him watching the kids while you go on trips alone is going to make us change our opinions of Michael? You think that bringing Gordon on the show and making him the foolish drunk is going to make us forget about Michael? Okay, no. So, of course, he's talking about Candace and Chris. And that's where Robin, in her confessional, this is the part where I start to agree with Robin. Robin says that Michael has an elitist attitude towards Candace and Chris. And I was like, you noticed it too. Okay, so maybe you do have a little bit of sense whenever you're not around. Giselle, thank you so much, Julia. Hey. So yeah, I'm like, maybe you do have sense. So then while they're also at the little double date lunch, they're having conversations about baby talk. So Ashley ends up asking Juan and Robin, what do y'all want to come first? Y'all want a baby first or y'all want a marriage? Because obviously, y'all, we know this entire time, Robin and Juan have not been prioritizing marriage. Okay, they got this to do. It's the pandemic. They building a house. They doing this, that, and the third. So Ashley's like, I'm just trying to see where y'all's head is at. Neither one of them knows, just like neither one of them have a date on anything. So then Robin says, well, it would have to be different than the first time 13 years ago. Now, Robin has brought this up last season. She's brought it up plenty of times this season. She let us know that Juan was not present as a father. He missed the birth of one of his sons. So that's definitely something that she brings up and then she scales away from it, right? So I guess in this moment, they don't get right to it because I want to know more. Robin, you have been boring, to put it simple. You've been boring. And every single season when people ask for cash shakeups, people are like, Robin can go. Robin ain't bringing nothing. Robin ain't got a storyline. Giselle's her storyline. Robin can go every season. But this episode, I was low-key like, you know what? If you actually exposed your relationship, there will be a storyline. But, I guess you got to pick and choose what you want to expose when you come on reality TV. But that's also part of the reason why people are so irritated with you because you have this relationship on the show and y'all are just faking it, I guess, till y'all make it. I don't know what's going on. It's feeling not like an institution, like Karen says. It's not feeling like an institution. So anyway, they slide over that whole baby conversation. And Robin, this is another point she gets with me. She ends up asking if people ask Michael if he is his children's grandfather. And I was like, girl, you know they do. Girl, you know they do, because he looks old enough to be their grandfather. So Iconic says, nah, Robin can still go. You know what? I could tolerate Robin if we saw Juan more, because I think there's parts of Juan that we haven't seen. And based on this episode, I'm like, you know what? Part of me feels like if I continue to see Juan on TV, I may not like him as much. Okay. But I don't know if she came with it. But at this point, y'all, honestly, she's been on the show for what, 6 seasons at this point? If she ain't brought it by now, I guess you're right. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. So Iconic. Make sure y'all like the video too. Okay. So now, y'all, we will move on from the Darbys and the Dixons now to talking about Candace. This episode, Candace is super excited because she's worked so hard to finally sign to a record label. We find out that she's signing to a label called E1 Nashville. Y'all, I don't know nothing about the music industry, so I can't tell you how reputable this recording label is, but it sounds like she's getting all of the things that she asked for as far as being a recording artist. So when they're sitting down, she's sitting there, she's ready to cry. She's there with her mom and her man. Okay, that's one thing she don't play about, her mom and her man. She's there and she's sitting there ready to cry, like, oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about the times when I was a kid and I would dance until I was sweating, and I just dreamed about days like this. I'm really happy to see how dedicated Candace is. I love whenever the women have something going on outside of the show, whether it's a candle business like Wendy, you selling $50 candles, but you don't know how to write up a business proposal, or you have the House of Huger, stuff like that. So it was nice to see this moment. Now, the parts that I thought was funny was as she's getting ready to sign the deal, the people are telling her, we just need you to keep it tight on social media. And she seriously says, why shine on there? And it's like, girl, shine? I don't know about it, okay? People definitely talk about your tweets, but I don't know if I would say the word shine. So then her mom, I can't remember if it was her mom or if it was Chris, who was like, no, this is what they mean. This is what you do on social media, and this is why you need to keep it tight. So they all laugh it off. But then the other recording guy, he kind of reiterates it again. And he says, we really want to showcase that you're an artist. So to me, I feel like this is good for Candace because you signed to a record label who wants to treat you as an artist, and they don't want to talk about the things that you've been doing as a housewife. Candace will absolutely struggle with people seeing her 100% as an artist. I think that she's gotten a lot of respect so far. I do. What you say, Ramel? Ramel said no shade. Hopefully her music do good. I actually like her song Drive Back. I listened to her album. She had a couple like regular R&B bops. And when I say regular, I mean like factory type music, like pre-written R&B bops, like, you know what I mean, just generic R&B songs that you could bop to. They didn't sound bad, but it sounded much better than anything else that I've heard from the Housewives. Sounded better than Fly Above, in my opinion. Fly Above sounded better than Tardy for the Party. She actually seemed more adjacent to being an artist than other housewives. Now, will she continue to do that or protect that image? I don't know. I wish her the best of luck. I highly doubt it. Kenya says everything you said people had going on just highlighted the fact that Giselle has nothing going on. Facts. Giselle is only talking about cleaning up the West Wing. She's only talking about this dating. Is she dating, y'all? She's only talking about what's the dude from the Proud Family? Magic Kelly or whatever. Y'all know where you can't ever see his face. It's imaginary man. So yeah, y'all, I cannot. Now, she would be a mess without Chris. This is what Candace says in her confessional. And I'm like, you know what? That's absolutely true. I've said it so many times this season. If Candace did not have Chris, she would not know what to do. The only thing is, I feel like this is where I struggle. Y'all know I like Candace, right? But I also try to hold her accountable. Candace, you're grown. If you know that you could not survive without Chris, baby, what you doing? I feel like what works between the relationship with her and Chris is that sometimes Chris can turn into like a parental figure for her, and he has to draw the line like, no, don't do this. And she's like, I'm sorry. So Candace, learn from this, okay? Learn from this. So now, y'all, let's move on to Robin and embellishment. Hey, what's up, Sam? Let's move on to Robin and embezzled, like we like to say on YouTube, y'all. She finally got her warehouse. This is something that she talked about at the beginning, but to me, I was like, this is Robin's full circle story. The house ain't done, but in the end, we found out that they finally moved into the house. But I'm just like, this is Robin's full circle. Her full circle was that she was looking into getting a warehouse earlier in the season. Finale episode, she gets the warehouse. If this is where we're at when it comes to quality storylines, do better. Okay. Good for you. You got your warehouse, but come on. This is giving very much wasted space. But what you know would offer a good storyline is you talking about Juan and you actually getting into this fake relationship or a relationship that carries weight, like Wendy says. So now they start talking about the baby. Robin is definitely setting this up to be filmed. We know Juan does not like to be filmed. Juan is here. He is gone. Juan is not here right now. She's so glad Juan Dixon is not here. Juan often doesn't want to be filmed. So he could tell that she was trying to create a storyline with him in that scene. Or I wouldn't say a storyline. I guess she was trying to produce a scene. So she says, I know we're getting ready to move into this new house, but if you want to move into this house and you want to have another baby, the same things that happened the first time around cannot happen going forward. And he immediately goes, man, Rob, what are you talking about? Don't do that. Don't do that. That was 13 years ago. He immediately tries to stop her from talking. That tells us what? I believe Robin. He probably wasn't around. And it probably wasn't only due to him being in the NBA at the time. It probably had a lot to do with what men do when they're in the NBA. Y'all know it, okay? Probably has a lot to do with what men do when they're in the NBA. So he gets upset. He immediately walks out. He's not even like giving her the opportunity to discuss it. And he says, man, you know what you're doing, Rob. You're making me out to be a dickhead. And he gets in his car and he says, Rob, know what she's doing. I'll take this MF and mic off. He takes the mic off, walks back up, hands the mic off. Robin walks after him. And part of me, or all of me, knows that Robin knew this conversation was not going to go anywhere. But what I want to know is, what did they say to you, Robin, to make you even try to produce that scene? Like, did somebody say, come on, Robin, it's the finale episode. We need a round about the house. We need a round about the business. We need a round about the baby. So can you have this conversation with Juan? I imagine it went something like that. I don't know why I don't know why else Robin would have had that conversation knowing how Juan is. You know he's not going to discuss that. So she walks after him. And you could tell she's just like she didn't really know what to say, right? And he says something like, Robin, I'm leaving. He rolls up the window and that's that. So I can't finish that scene without what Juan says to Robin. Juan says to Robin, it's never about what you didn't do. It's always about what I did. So when he said that, I was like, what she didn't do? What are you talking about? And it sounded to me like a lot of these men out here who never want to take complete responsibility for doing things like cheating, for doing things like not being 100% present as a father and a husband. It was kind of like, well, you weren't doing this for me, so I had to go find it somewhere else. That's my assumption. But what can I assume based off of this little bitty tidbit of what he said? Now, Julia says this maybe is going to save her for next season. I don't know. I feel like she knew it was the finale coming up. She like this story arc should have happened so long ago, Robin. You shouldn't have waited until the final week of filming to try to have this conversation with Juan. You've been on the show for 6 seasons at this point. If you don't really want people all in your business, you know when along the filming process to drop little bitty pieces of information. So I think it was interesting that we just got so much Juan and Robin on the scene. Octavia says, so why choose now on camera to ask me about 13-year-old shit? She was trying to make him a D-head. She's making him her storyline and he's pissed. Facts. To answer your question, so why? It's because Robin's trying to secure her bag, just as I was saying. You have been on the show 6 seasons. This story arc should have happened a long time ago. So now, y'all, Robin decides to talk to Giselle about it on FaceTime. That's your first mistake. Stop calling Giselle and talking to her about your marriage. Giselle, y'all, I'm not trying to glorify the can't keep a man, but the thing is, Giselle is not qualified to give anyone advice about that. I wouldn't have even talked to Giselle about it. Giselle hardly talked to you about Jamal. So, Robin, you are tolerable when you're not next to Giselle. Or Robin, you're tolerable when you're not next to Giselle. So wrong road. Don't call Giselle asking her or telling her about Juan. So next, y'all, it is time for the biggest part of the episode, which is the wedding. Candace arrives. She says, ooh, no, ma'am, the venue is ugly. Now, y'all know, not Robin. Candace has high standards when it comes to a venue, especially when her mama is paying for all of it. And it is the wedding of the year. Okay. So Candace had different expectations than Karen for her wedding. Y'all, I feel like Karen definitely had an all-inclusive type of wedding thing. Her friend owned the venue. They said her friend was named like Anya or something like that. Probably got the venue, the dress, everything, all inclusive. Hated the staircase. I have to say, I absolutely hated the staircase. So something tells me Karen probably wouldn't have chosen that place on her own if she didn't have some sort of incentive or benefit for renting the place out. It's probably free. Let's be real, y'all. They showed the venue multiple times. She got exposure. Her friend got exposure for her venue on the show. So there's plenty of people who would want to get married there just because Karen Huger renewed her vows there, but I was not feeling the staircase. So Ashley shows up alone. Why are you always alone? Ashley shows up alone again, but she says that Michael is coming later on. Giselle arrives in her boot and her MF and pastry shoes like it's 2007. Now, I don't even know what shoes she was wearing, but they definitely looked like pastries. And I was like, Giselle, come on, okay? So Candace, she is inside mixing and mingling with the women. We also see Wendy getting out of the car. She's having outfit difficulties. Her dress was not fit to even move. So anyway, Kenya said she was wearing G Nikes. Hated them. Okay, definitely was looking like pastries to me. So Candace, I like you, but I really need you to stop positioning yourself in a way to where you're in alliance with the ops. The ops, Robin and Giselle. She says to Wendy, did you talk to Robin and Giselle? And Wendy said, well, did Giselle talk to me? She said, I'm here for Karen. I don't care. Wendy, I gave you a hard time very early on this season. Wendy, I gave you a very hard time. I kept saying you were going to Housewives boot camps. I still think you were going to Housewives boot camps, but I have to say it paid off. And I'm super proud of the way that Wendy handled the ops this season, the GEB, Green Eye Bandits Incorporated. She killed it. She held her own. She was confident. She didn't get punked, and she's not going to be like one of these girls who have to get bullied and then all of a sudden you're liked once you assert that you are less than Giselle and Robin. So shout out to you, Wendy. You did great this season. Now, everybody's sitting down, and Robin and Giselle are talking to Juan. And that's where Juan says, yeah, Robin told me about Jamal. I'm so sorry. And he says, so are you dating? That's when Giselle pulls up her purse over her face. I'm assuming that behind her purse, she shook her head and said, no, I'm not dating. That's my assumption. But her purse goes up. She pulls the purse down. In her confessional, she says that she's dating a 34-year-old commentator. He's not famous, but he's well known, and that she doesn't want to answer any other questions about him. So she was like, if you keep asking me questions, then I'm just going to say none of your business. And surprisingly, y'all, by the end of the episode, we find out that she's no longer dating the commentator. Are we shocked at all, y'all? Not at all. Are we shocked? No. For whatever reason, we know that having a man is Giselle's biggest insecurity. Why? Because just a few episodes ago, she felt the need to ask her girls, should she take a date to Karen's wedding? Why would you randomly just find a date to take to her wedding? Is it because Wendy said that you will be packing your luggage? Is it because that hurt your feelings? Then whenever Juan asked you, are you dating somebody? You didn't just want to say no. You had to come up with somebody who didn't really hold any weight. You had to come up with a 34-year-old dude who, I guess a couple weeks later, you ended up not even talking to him. You would have been better off just saying, no, I'm not dating anyone. But I understand the need to flex. Or actually, I don't, because I don't live that lifestyle. But I know why you flexed, okay? Tragic. So now, y'all, Karen gets ready to walk out. And, you know, her dress was giving, y'all. Karen's dress was beautiful. Her hair was beautiful. Karen, she did that, okay? No surprise there at all. She was so nervous. She's walking out. She's pointing at Ray. You know, they so cute and all. Took her about 7.5 minutes to get up the stairs, is what they said. That alone would have been why I had not chosen that venue. She was wearing a tight mermaid dress, lots of tooling on the bottom. She could barely walk. So they do the whole little ceremony. Stairs are a mess, of course. And then they go back down for their first dance. Now, Michael arrives, you guys. This is when the mess starts. Michael arrives, and Candace tells Ascala over to the side, well, here's Michael. You've never met him before. This is what I'm talking about. She says, I know me and Ashley have a lot of stuff going on, but all of that aside, I don't think that Michael is morally good enough for Ashley. Now, when she said that, that resonated with me, because I tell y'all every single episode, I have a love-hate relationship with Ashley. I love Ashley as she is on her own. I think she brings the right amount of mess. She's fun, and I like her. Now, when she's next to Michael and she's defending Michael with the white privilege that Candace called out, I absolutely can't stand Ashley. So I understand what Candace meant whenever she said she didn't think that Michael was morally good enough for her. And specifically speaking, I think that Candace was speaking in reference of Michael putting his hands on one of the workers for the show, the production people, but he allegedly inappropriately touched a cast or crew member. Well, not cast member. Michael allegedly inappropriately touched a crew member of Real Housewives of Potomac. We saw that seasons ago when they slowed down the footage, and it was somebody's uncle's birthday party. Y'all remember, this is the same night that he said that he would suck Juan's, right? So I think Candace feels like those gross character traits about Michael, how he can do things because he thinks that he has power and then doesn't have to accept accountability for it. That's what makes him morally not right for Ashley, because Ashley seems like she's a good person. But it's interesting to see what she accepts. See what it did. Grab the bussy. That's what he did. That's basically what he did. Thank you, Octavia. It was a cameraman, okay? I was getting all tongue-tied. That's exactly what it was. So I understood what Candace meant by that, right? So Gordon asked Juan if he and Robin have a date, and he says no, not yet. We also see Michael and Gordon meet. Now, Candace said that they were very similar. The only thing that I find similar between Gordon and Michael is that they both have money. They're both old with younger wives. And when that liquor gets a clicking, they act a fool. That's it. I think that Gordon is more respectable than Michael from what we've seen, to be honest. So I just thought it was funny that they met, and whenever they met, Michael goes, "Hey, Roy, nice to meet you." You know, this man didn't say his name is Roy, but okay. So now, y'all, let's go ahead and get into Michael and Chris. Everybody's sitting down for the plated dinner. Juan breaks the ice and he says, "Okay, so we want to squash this stuff, right? We want to squash this. Okay, we grown. Let's get past it." And Michael's just rolling his eyes. Michael is very much giving like he's around Juan, and you could tell that Juan was just requesting the piece. I felt like Michael was kind of blushing the whole time, like, I guess I'll do it. You want me to get over it? I guess I'll get over it. That's what I was very much getting from Michael. So Chris says, "Okay, fine. I'll say something first." Chris says, "Whatever happened, happened." And then that's when Michael says, "Well, I don't like people being mean to my wife. So if you want to be a man and apologize apologize for putting your hands on me." What? And then this is where Robin acts like she has common sense. And Robin says, Robin says, "Michael, you can't act like you did nothing wrong. You put your hands on him." Thank you, Robin. Now you see clearly because Giselle is not influencing your opinion. I don't think that Chris was the one in the wrong. I think Michael came over to him talking about control your wife. You don't like people being mean to your wife. You telling Chris to control his wife like she a damn female dog. No, we would have got into it too, and I would have backed you up just like Chris did. So it's funny that Michael does not even have the capacity to think that he has done anything wrong. So Candace says the white privilege of it all. And she gets up and she walks away. Now, to be honest with y'all, before I actually watched the episode and they kept showing Candace say the white privilege of it all, part of me was like, part of me was wondering why Candace often separates her white husband from whiteness, but attaches Michael to whiteness. But once I saw this scene, and I just thought about how Chris carried himself in general. When I say carried himself, I don't mean like mannerisms or his swag. I don't mean stuff like that. What I mean is the lens in which he sees the world. Okay. Michael is very elitist. Michael does not like to accept responsibility for things. When Michael does wrong, he even cries in our face, like we've seen him do, like we've seen a lot of Karens do. So when Candace called that out, I was not mad at it one bit. Now, Candace calls it white privilege. Now, for for YouTube purposes and not to get my video flagged, I didn't name it white privilege on the thumbnail. I called it Real Housewives of Potomac privilege because I think that that's a real thing also, y'all. We say it all the time. Let Michael had been a black man that allegedly put his hands on crew members of the show, y'all think he would have seen the light of day? Y'all think that he would have had a redemption season of being pinned as such a great father after cheating on your wife multiple times, after being seen in hotel rooms? No, he wouldn't have. So while Candace is calling out the white privilege, I 100% agree that Michael showcases that. There's also a Real Housewives of Potomac privilege that they're giving him. I'm not sure what it is, but he's getting it. So she gets up and leaves. And Chris says to Michael, "We can agree to no longer disrespecting each other's wives." That's not what that's about. That's not what that's about, Michael. What it's about is your arrogance. You see Ashley as property. You own Ashley. So you feel like as a man, he's disrespecting you as well. But you feel the need, or you feel okay to disrespect Candace. Even before all that stuff happened at Robin's party last year, he to me initiated the disrespect of wives when he said, "You need to control your wife." That had a whole nother undertone. You can tell that there were conversations that he and Ashley had had in the past about Chris and Candace, which is why Chris turned up the way that he did. Now, I definitely see why Candace separates her husband from the whiteness of it all, because he's more of an ally. I definitely see why she did that. So Michael, they're saying, "Well, can you guys hug it out? Michael and Chris, can you hug it out?" Michael says, "I'll give Juan a hug." And he gives Juan a hug. He likes you and he wants you. Juan. So you better watch yourself, okay? So anyway, now y'all, everybody's on the floor dancing, and Robin is talking, and she's saying that the reception is making her think about her wedding. But in the same breath, she's kind of like, oh, well, we're building a house right now, so I'm not really worried about it. First, it was a pandemic. Now y'all are building a house and you don't want to have a wedding. You could definitely do an all-inclusive thing just like Karen did. I'm sure the show probably will pay at this point for y'all to have some type of event. Hell, have it in Giselle's driveway if you have to. So Juan, I felt like Juan was like, that's my cue. I've been here for about 45 minutes. I've done whatever obligations I've needed to do as a house husband. My Uber's outside. And Robin was like, why are you leaving? Juan does not want to be there. Juan Dixon does not want to be there. I'm not sure what's going on with their relationship. I'm not sure if he was still upset about her trying to make him look like a dickhead to try to get to the conclusion of her storyline that she was trying to force on us. I guess we'll never know. So Candace and Chris have a conversation. Chris says that Candace was over the top whenever she called it white privilege. Now, Chris, this is where I have to say Candace was not over the top. Candace says, I don't care. She says he wants everyone to bow down to him, and I'm not going to do that. And girl, I'm proud of you in this scene. I'm proud of you in this scene. Octavia, I have to agree with you. She says, I feel like he's just not that into her anymore. And this is in reference to Robin and Wine. I feel like that. Definitely, I do. And beautifully animated says, Michael apologized for Juan's sake, not for his wife who initially asked Michael to mend fences with Chris. Say it again, because he does not care. He does not care about what Ashley wants. He cares about what his man Juan wants, though. So yeah, I really actually agree with Candace in this scene whenever she called out the white privilege. I'm not mad at it at all. You got to call it what it is. So they round out the season with the clips of what everybody's doing. Ashley, this is another one where I'm like, go on with it. Go on with it. Ashley is working on baby number 3. Good for you. Okay. Whatever works for you and your family. Honestly, I'm glad you have 2 happy babies, but I'm calling bullshit. Quit trying to force this big, happy family on us. Michael is such an amazing dad on us. I don't want to see it for another season. Have another baby. Great. Another healthy one. But I don't want to see you on my screen trying to convince me that this man is no longer allegedly using his power to touch people. Allegedly. Okay. And I don't know what the capacity of that is, but we know what the allegations are. So, girl, I don't want to see it. Mia is still working on her relationship with her mother. Good for her. Don't really know what else was going on outside of that. Oh, she said that they were building a house for her mom to come live with them. So I'm glad that Mia can work on that. I think Mia was entertaining. As much as she was annoying, she was also very entertaining. So I would actually like to see Mia back next season. Giselle, girl, your recap was so tired. Giselle, her screen says that Giselle is not worried about dating right now. She's living a hot girl summer. Okay, we'll see. Robin, they finally moved into the new house. Good for them, but they still have no date for the wedding. This is very much starting to feel like a partnership. Something that's transactional, something where your bills are so tied together that it's just easier to stay together and raise the kids for 5 more years. I didn't think so at first, but now I'm all the way convinced. This is what it feels like. Candace album came out. I told y'all I listened to it. I enjoyed it. It definitely gave us generic R&B. And then we find out that Chris is barely speaking to his mother-in-law, Dorothy, because he's still acting as Candace's husbander, should I say. So I wonder what's the issue there. Because he's no longer working and that he's fully committed to not working. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out next season because I definitely want to see Candace back. I like Candace. Wendy released her $50 candle that everybody was talking about. And I think it was a 1 week at that. But the thing is, If people like you, people are going to buy shit. So I'm not mad at it at all, Wendy. I loved all of the work and the results that we've seen from Housewives Boot Camp. Can't wait to see you back, honestly. Now, Karen, I can't remember what they said about Karen. I'm sure she's building her Grand Dame House of Karen stuff. H. Freddie, you need to go on somewhere. H. Freddie says hot girl summer, you mean hot flash summer. No, you need to go on somewhere. So yeah, I'm sure Karen is working on her House of Huger or the Grand Dame, La Dame, that's her brand name. So yeah, ultimately, y'all, I thought it was a really entertaining season. Mia, she understood the assignment. She was annoying as hell, but Mia understood the assignment as a newbie. So, y'all, ooh, Kenya. Kenya says that Candace said that on Watch What Happened Live, Chris is no longer managing her, the confusion of it all. Very confusing. Octavia loved Wendy this season, whereas DR thought that Wendy was disappointing. In the beginning, she was. See, I have to agree with you there. DR says Wendy didn't film well. She wasn't authentic. In the beginning, I lit her up for that. Everything was pre-rehearsed. Then when this, that, and the third, TikTok, Mia, all that, I was like, go on somewhere. But it didn't get authentic until you could tell that she was triggered by something that really pissed her off. I feel like Wendy was trying to have a moment over petty shit, like with Mia. But when they actually came for her family, that's when it got authentic. That's when the reads were real. And I was like, I can respect that because you're not just going to fall in line like the other girls. Now, y'all, be sure to like the video up, y'all. I have enjoyed talking to y'all tonight. Y'all know I don't be up this late talking to y'all on YouTube, but better late than ever. Like I told y'all, me and the girls are filming something, so I can't wait for y'all to see it. But as always, y'all, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Scorpio season. My birthday is in 10 days, and I can't wait for y'all to just, this is like my first actual birthday talking to y'all on YouTube. It'll be lit. So, with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's night. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.